Hi everyone and welcome to a new episode of The Drop. I'm Mensah-Bonsu.
Nah, he can go first because it's his birthday.
Oh, you're going to let me go first?
Happy birthday.
Oh, does this mean we're going to get along today?
No.
I'm Aysun Mugabe.
I'm Simon Hosanna.
I'm Stephen Edwards.
Woo! So Stephen Edwards
Welcome.
is his first time on The Drop and we're really excited that you were here, by the way. Going on in the NBA this week, and I think one that I'm most shocked about is with the Grizzlies. Mike Conley is injured and he'll be out for the next 2 months. And what's more shocking about it is the fact that he signed a huge contract over the summer. What does this mean for the Grizzlies, Steve?
I think it's going to be really, really difficult for the Grizzlies. Mike Conley's a guy that's improved over the last few seasons. He's become one of the elite point guards in the league now, and with all this influx of TV money, he's benefited from that. So he's got like this massive contract, and then all of a sudden now he's not going to be playing. He's averaging 19.2 points per game. Arguably could have been potentially an all-star this year, and now all of a sudden the Grizzlies are left with this void at point guard, and they've got also all these other injuries as well. It's not great times for a Grizzlies fan right now.
Simon, remember over the summer when he signed his big contract and everyone was like, he's not worth that much. And now this has happened.
All right, I'm just warning you. This is the first of many corny quotes for tonight, right? You know that old saying by the Beatles, money can't buy you love? Money cannot buy you health. I'm telling you. But the Grizzlies, I mean, they're suffering. You're quite right, Steve. They're missing a load of players. I think it was Chandler Parsons, Zach Randolph because of the death of his mother, Brandon Wright, James Ennis. They can't get a break. They absolutely can't get a break. And where this leads them, I think it leads them relying on the fact that they're going to have to rely on their two young point guards coming off the bench, which, you know what, no team really wants to do that. And I think the unfortunate position that they're in as well is exacerbated because they're not allowed to go and get the emergency reserve until they play the Lakers. So even with that, the Lakers are messing up people's lives. So who are they going to get? I don't think there's a lot of people out there. I heard Will Bynum being mentioned as a replacement. Okay, but I really feel for them. But you know what? Let's wish him the best on his recovery.
Alan, what's your take on this?
I'm with Simon on this. I think it's a tough take for Memphis simply because even I can't remember whether it was the last playoffs or the playoffs beforehand where Marc Gasol got injured just before playoffs. And again, it's like, all right, you think that they're going to be on a nice roll and something again happens like that. Regardless of how much he's earning, it's both tough for the organization and him as well. My only thing is that I wonder how long Memphis is going to keep on doing this because it seems like every year there's something that just keeps happening, and I don't know if they'll ship someone out. I'm not saying that they're going to, but it's going to be interesting what they do as an organization moving forward.
I think it was interesting what Steve said as well and it's a real shame not only for the Grizzlies but it's a real shame for Conley as well because there was a chance that this could have been his first year to be picked for the All-Star game. Because he was playing that well, so and you know, to have all of that money, all of that pressure put on top of him, and then to be playing well, and then for this to happen,
it's a tough take.
I heard there's a rumor that Norris Cole was coming back from China to play that role of Mike Conley. If he comes back, is he going to make an impact, or are they even going to try and make the playoffs without him?
I think the thing is they've got enough there that they can make the playoffs. It's only a 2-month thing. I think the schedule to start off with isn't too bad, but then they've then got the Warriors twice, they've got the Cavs twice. I mean, there's 4 games. You think without Conley, they're going to be losses. So they're going to fall down the standing somewhat. The West is always traditionally a lot harder than it is out in the East. If they can just hang around maybe one of those lower playoff spots and get everyone healthy come the playoffs, then they're always a team for me in the West that no one wants to face because they don't play that Western brand of ball. They play a very defensive orientated system that all of a sudden they become a tough out in the playoffs. So I think they'll just want to just kind of hang around. Maybe they will get a guy like a Norris Cole or Will Bynum or someone like that. Just someone just to tide them over. I wouldn't like to see them go with 2 rookie point guards at this stage.
Yeah.
I mean, also, no Chandler Parsons. He was a guy that they could have led the offense through.
Yep.
He can create the offense for them. And all of a sudden, if you hadn't got Conley, then you just put the ball in Parsons' hand. And that's just been a disaster. I'm sure the Mavericks are rubbing their hands with glee.
The Parsons thing, I actually thought when that happened, I thought that was a knock on the team. So, and then this happens.
How so?
Just that it wasn't. It just broke up the flow.
Oh, okay.
It absolutely broke up the flow, and then you think to yourself, well, okay, they've got Conley. They're going to recover from that. They can fill in the other gaps, and then this happens to Conley.
I quite enjoyed them last year actually because I thought they were going to do something special, and obviously him signing the contract, it felt like he had a lot to prove to a lot of people, and with this injury, it just doesn't look good. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens in January when they come back. If he does make it to the game against OKC, if he does, great. If he doesn't, we just have to see. It's just they're not having a good time
we wish him
at
the best.
all. We wish him the best. Get well soon. On our last episode, we talked about DeMarcus Cousins, and we talked about John Wall. We even said that John Wall was a frustrated wizard in Washington, and DeMarcus Cousins, we didn't know whether, we said he could go to any team if he wanted to, but his behavior kind of holds him back. But now there's a rumor that both of them could reunite at one team in the NBA. Is this a positive thing, Alan?
I would like to see it. I would love to see it. I would love to see it. And John Wall is an elite point guard, and DeMarcus Cousins is perhaps the best big man in the game. How or what team it would go to, I think I actually look forward to hearing what Simon has to say, because Simon is the person who usually figures things out in terms of cap space and potential moves. But I'd definitely love to see them play together. However, I am aware that John Wall, he signed a 5-year contract, and he only did that 2 years ago, and that's for $84 million. So he's still got a lengthy time, and I'd be surprised if the Washington Wizards are prepared to let him walk with 3 years left to go in his contract. Yeah, that's my take on it.
I think the first thing about it is it's so nice. I mean, how many times have we sat here talking about he let his boy down and he wasn't there for his boy and he did him wrong, he didn't give him a call, and here you've got a couple of guys who are so tight. They're still really, really tight. There's obviously a really, really tight friendship there. So when Alan says, where do I think there's more chance of him going to Wall going to no, sorry, the other way around.
No,
DeMarcus going to
Washington.
Washington. I think there's much more of a chance of that happening. I think there's a really good hashtag at the moment. Have you seen that? Hashtag Boogie to DC.
Really?
Boogie to DC.
So I think him going to DC, he would fit in perfectly in DC.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that you've got to remember as well, there's a third member of the team as well,
Who's
Eric
that?
Bledsoe.
Eric Bledsoe.
Oh.
Bledsoe, there's all this talk about, because they're all going, yeah, well, remember, Eric wants us to go there, and so wants us to go to Sacramento, and that kind of thing. I just think it's really, really nice. Remember the last time, and I love the way that we segued from the previous episode into this one. Remember we were talking about DeMarcus and Shaq. Even Shaq is talking about DeMarcus going. I definitely think there's more chance of him going back to be in Washington.
Steve?
I can't see Sacramento letting DeMarcus go. I mean, they've just got that new arena and everything else there. It'll be an absolute PR disaster. Much as he's an absolute nightmare to work with, you just can't let him go. He's still got 2 years left on his contract. I think they're going to see that out, certainly in the foreseeable future. I think what's interesting out of this as well is how it's become almost acceptable now that players talk about how tight they are, where they're going to play.
Not if you listen to these two. Not if you listen to these two, Steve, trust me.
Before LeBron going to Miami, which we realised that was in the cards.
That's when it went downhill.
This is it. Everyone all of a sudden
went downhill.
LeBron started this terrible trend
My
of let me
boys.
go play with my buddies.
We can all of a sudden talk about which house you want to play in now, but it seems as, I mean, if you touch on this, Simon, is that Eric Bledsoe, DeMarcus Cousins, and John Wall are all saying, well, I don't really want to move. You can come and play in my house. I don't want to move here. So, Eric Bledsoe's going to say, well, come play in Phoenix. It'll be fun down there. We'll go and do that. So I think at the end of the day, I think all of the guys will stay where it is. And in terms of Washington now, is it such an appealing destination anymore? Because we talked about a couple of years ago.
DC's a good city.
But from a basketball standpoint, a couple of years ago, they was almost like the team that we thought would maybe challenge in the Eastern Conference. And then all of a sudden they take that backward step. Everyone was talking about, Durant's going to go there when he becomes a free agent. Well, that never happened. So is it really the appealing destination anymore for NBA players to go and play at?
Well, you know what, and especially seeing as there's somebody news moving into Washington in
I was just going to
January,
say,
right?
with Trump in
That's the
town,
place
it
to
probably
be.
isn't.
That's the place
No,
to be
it
right
is
now.
Power forward, though.
His wig can.
But this is to all of you guys, though. If DeMarcus Cousins moves to DC and John Wall creates this connection or this friendship with him, where does that leave Bradley Beal? Because that relationship is rocking at the moment.
He's gone. Bradley Beal's got to go.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to have to make some kind of move anyway to be able to absorb DeMarcus Cousins' contract. So you'd have to think that Bradley Beal is going to be the one that's necessarily going to be moved on. I mean, we talked about that dynamic backcourt of like Bradley Beal and John Wall. You know, that it's a divorce now. It has to happen if they're going to make the move for DeMarcus.
That makes me sad. I really like Bradley Beal. I really do. I know, Simon, I'm going my heart about that. Don't look at me like they make me feel bad. But whatever happens with DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall, I would like to see DeMarcus Cousins in DC.
And you know what? There's also a lot of talk. Everyone talks about the bad boy DeMarcus Cousins, but he's a
good guy.
He's loved in Sacramento.
I love
He's
him.
absolutely loved in Sacramento. And you think about some of the stuff that he does outside
with the
of that
young
as well,
people.
with all the young people.
He's got his own boogie crew that he takes to cinemas and does amazing things with them in the community. So
Boogie to DC.
man,
Boogie to DC.
Come to DC. Come to DC. Let's wait on it and see what happens. Let's move on. Let's move on to one of my favorite players I like to talk about, because I do think that he's going to be MVP this season. Russell, they're just hating. Don't worry about them. But let's just say Russell is now averaging triple doubles. It's almost kind of like going to the shop and getting all your favorite sweets. That's what he's doing. What's going on, Simon? And don't bother trying to say anything bad about him because he's been good.
I actually hate this. Right? I actually hate this.
Argument coming alongside.
I'm not arguing.
This is obviously coinciding with your first appearance on here because right now I ain't got nothing bad to say about Brooke.
Okay.
I have
Really?
got nothing. You
I
know
was
what?
waiting for it.
When he's now an official triple double. Those are his stats. He's an official triple double. Who was the last person to do that? Oscar Robertson. So you look at his stats and you say, okay, that's fine, that's cool. And he did it, right? He knew going into the game the other night that he needed to get his rebounds up. He did it in the first half. However, I also remember another player who single-handedly just did everything and led the team, and it was all about me, and look what happened there. A certain Kobe Bryant. So you know what? Respect to Brooke. Respect to Brooke for doing what he did. But you know what? Is it a good thing for the team? Yeah.
Alan, is Russell going to be MVP?
It pains me, right? And I want to make it clear, he's perhaps going to be the best player in the league this year, right? However, he's not going to be MVP because one, his team's not going to get high enough in the ranks. So what I did is, again, me looking the sadder that I am, I had to look at some numbers, and I thought, when was the last time an individual came lower than third or fourth and still won MVP? Because he's not going to win. He's not going to come past third or fourth, right? And it's never happened. So it went back to 20 years, and the furthest that somebody has come and won MVP was third, and that was in 1999. Karl Malone, and his team although he was third, he was tied for the first number one place in the West with Utah. So unfortunately, I think he's going to be the best player. He's going to have the most amazing stats. He's going to be unguardable. It's going to be amazing to watch him, but he's going to end up 6th, 7th, 8th, and he's not going to win MVP.
Steve, is Russell Westbrook a team player, or is he just out for himself?
I think the thing is that there's a lot of stat padding going on. And I think that at the same time he's got a big point to prove, obviously, because with Durant not being there anymore. This is literally stat padding. It goes back to what Simon said. You know, he was aware already of like what he needed to like raise his game up to triple double. And I want to say something about the triple double. Triple doubles are one of the most overused stats that's thrown around. It's one of these things, it's like we become like so statistics orientated across all of our sports, and we're trying to record these triple doubles. Yeah, I mean, okay, it's been 50 years or whatever since Oscar Robertson did it, but You know, is it really that important to be talking about that? We should be more talking about what Westbrook's actually bringing to the court, how he's actually performing to his team. Whereas I think the first thing a lot of people are just throwing around is, oh, he's averaging a triple-double, he's averaging a triple-double. That to me is not what's important. It's the fact of what he's actually bringing into his game, and that's what we should be talking about.
I agree with you in terms of looking at the stats, saying that whether he's what he's bringing to the team. However, he doesn't know how to play any other way, and let's get out of the way. He's not out there to fill stats. He's taken every possession at 100%, and that's the difference. I understand what you mean. Sometimes players go there, they're like, oh, you know, I'm 2 points shy of this or this, that rebound. That's not Russell Westbrook, because that guy wants to win. And I think that's one thing we can all agree on here.
Well, what I do agree on is, Steve, is I've always said that Brooke, very much like Kobe, drove someone else out of town. So
He did that, Simon.
He drove.
He didn't.
He drove Durant out of town
Durant
and
just
wanted it
wanted
to
a
be
ring.
his team. He wanted it to be his team. He's now his team. I think it is detrimental to the team in the long run. I think it will be in the long run. However, I disagree with you when it comes to triple doubles, because I think it is an amazing stat. Yeah, when you start going quadruple double because of turnovers, then yeah. But I think the triple double stat.
Simon, I never fight with you, but I'm gonna fight with you in regards to this running out Kevin Durant. He never did that, but we're gonna move on from
Run his ass out.
What are you talking about?
Run his ass out. Get out of here. I want to be number one. We've seen it happen before.
Guys, get involved. Do you think that was Russell? Who's Russell?
He's the guy that ran the other guy out of town.
Do you think Russell Westbrook is going to be MVP this season? If you think so, please get involved in the conversation by hashtagging NBA in the UK or tweet us at the drop BBall. Always gets emotional when that guy's name comes up on this show, but we'll keep it moving. A couple of years back, we remember the lockout where NBA was a standstill and we didn't know what to do because there was no games. The players were not playing. The league really didn't know what to do. So there's been ongoing talk suggesting that the forthcoming NBA labor peace, that something will happen. Now, guys, will the MBPA opt out of the deal before December 15th? Simon.
Right, here's my second one. Here's my second cheesy one of the night. Show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the money! Right? Listen, I can't even remember which Prime Minister came back and stepped off the plane and went, there is peace in our times. There is peace in our time. There's peace. There is so much money around now. It is in nobody's... It does nobody any good to opt out of anything, right? I just wrote down a couple of things because it's crazy, right? So there's an NBA cap expert who's estimated that NBA teams committed $4.5 billion in new contracts this summer, right? To 275 players.
Billion?
4.5 billion, right? And that was this summer. Next year, there's going to be even more money on the table. There's going to be even more money on the table. Forbes put the average estimated value of every NBA team this year at $1.25 billion, right? And that's going to get even better because now, as well as the national TV deals, they're all starting to do their own local deals, starting to do internet deals. Yeah. So even those teams who historically never got any money from the TV stuff, they're awash with money, absolutely awash with money. So I think there will be peace in our times. I think the two people who are bargaining from either side, they seem to be getting on a lot better, whereas David Stern and in previous years, they were always up for a fight. So, we are going to be watching basketball uninterrupted.
Stephen, do you think Michelle Roberts, who's the president of the MBPA, is going to sit down and say, we actually need more money from you guys?
I don't think so. I think at the moment it's one of those things, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, I think there's so much money in the game now. I mean, I think, Michelle and Adam Silver are at a point of where they have got a much better situation than what has been in years past, as Simon said. I mean, there is like $24 billion or something of TV money that's come into this league.
24 billion.
I mean, David Stern would have loved to have had that amount of money just at his disposal to all of a sudden, okay, you can actually have what you want pretty much because we're going to be okay. And I think, yes, okay, the players did give back a hell of a lot last time. And there was some thought after that maybe, the players might want to, come back and take some of that back. But I really don't see it. I think, players are getting the contracts they wanted. They're in situations they want. Teams are becoming more and more profitable. Yeah. So I just see a point of where all we'll do is have a deal. I think it's what Adam Silver said. We'll have a deal that's very much like what we've already got in play. and we won't have to worry about any sort of labour stoppages, which I think is, it's going to be great for the fans, great for the league and everyone else. I just cannot see any issues in this at all.
Alan?
I think there's also an aspect of better channels for players, because a lot of teams have loads of international scouts, and it's not just example Pops. You've got people that are focusing on specific regions, and I know, for example, the Lakers, they've got somebody that goes to Europe, somebody that goes to Africa, somebody that goes to Asia, and you've got all of these people coming in. You've got Giannis, who's come from Greece. You've got Tony Parker.
What's his surname, Alan?
It doesn't matter. But my point is, you
That
having
guy.
all of these different players coming, Thornmaker, Sudan, whatever it is, you have all these different players coming from different places, and it's somebody that nation or that area, region, whatever it is, can associate with themselves with. And once you have that person, you've got more people that want to watch the game, attach themselves because of that individual player. So it's not just from the NBA side as well, it's also the players being able to get there and have an impact on the game as well.
I think what's going on in the NBA is amazing, especially with the growth of it. Sorry, Simon, go ahead.
I think Steve made a really, really good point as well, that the players in the last negotiations, they came down from 57% of the share down to 51%. So people are going, well, are the players going to want to push up? And from what I've heard, the players are like, listen, 51% of what money is available now is way more than 57% of what we were arguing before. And I think the owners have also said as well, we're not going to try and take any more of the players' money as well. So there's a real equilibrium in the negotiations.
And I really love the idea of players now making everything into business. So even to tweet something costs money. For players to get onto platforms like Uninterrupted, like, what's they call it? What's the other one? Players Tribune. All the content that they're creating, they're also making their own little money on the side. So there's so much going on out there. I'm quite happy for them, to be fair. So 15th of December, nothing is happening. So let's keep it moving.
We're watching basketball.
We're watching basketball. All right. So this week, Wizards Bradley Beal was fined $15,000 for grabbing the throat of Evan Fournier. Don't like that guy.
Fournier or Beal?
Fournier,
Oh, wow, okay.
because he was very rude to Roman when he was in London. Roman was trying to interview him, and he was just being extremely rude. So I don't like him. So well done, Bradley.
Yeah, but Roman's French.
Are players getting out of control, Alan?
I don't think so. If I'm honest, I saw the fine and I thought that was quite excessive. I thought it's £15,000 is a lot. Sorry, $15,000 is quite a lot of money. Furthermore, I kind of like when this happens, when you're watching a basketball game. No, here's the thing. When I started watching basketball, there was brawls, there was fights, there was Ron Artest, there was people getting each other's face, there was Allen Iverson, there was all of these people, and it was really personal. So when you knew, Tracy McGrady was going to go against Kobe Bryant or Allen Iverson, you knew them guys didn't like each other on the court, and I had really admired watching that in basketball. Now I understand they're role models, but it gets heated. Sometimes you're competing, and he's a man. He probably knows that he done wrong. I don't think players are getting out of hand. In fact, sometimes I wish the NBA would just kind of ease up a little bit and just let there be that little rivalry, so that when you're coming to watch a game, you know that there's going to be a bit of physical contact.
Simon.
Yeah, that's my take on it. I'm sorry. I like the old school.
Yeah.
And he's a teacher.
Happy birthday, Alan. I agree with Alan.
Thank you.
I totally and utterly agree with Alan. I've said it before. You need that kind of beef. You need that kind of antagonism. We know it's a non-contact sport, but you need that sort of not hostility. You just need that little edge to it as well. And I think in this instance, Bradley Beal probably feels hard done by, but he's put his hand up. That's probably the wrong thing to do in this circumstance. And he said, you know what? I just our arms are flailing around. I'll just caught him on the neck. But I understand what the NBA have got to do. But what this did was, whilst I was researching this, what this did was allow me to luxuriate in the fact and cry a little tear as well, that the real bad boys of basketball, my team Detroit, this is their last season in the Palace.
Yeah.
Yes,
So they are moving to the Little Caesars Arena. What's that all about? So when we talk about, an edge, that's what you're really talking about. You know, Alan mentioned Ron Artest. Remember him when he was called Artest? That's what I used to love. The bad boys, you know, watching that. So I'm really sad that they're moving out of the Palace, the bad boys. But I'm glad for Detroit because they're moving downtown. The regeneration of Detroit continues, and it was a nice excuse for me to mention the Pistons. So good luck with your move, and I look forward to seeing you in the future.
I love Detroit, but Stephen, so Bradley gets fined 15,000. Andre Drummond the other night gets fined 25,000. Is the NBA robbing the players blind?
I looked at this, like, you know, when I read the headline, I just imagined like Bradley Beal just like putting his hands around the guy's throat, and I watched the video 3 or 4 times just to try and see what the NBA actually saw. No, it was so soft. It was something in nothing. No punches were thrown. There was no real issue amongst the players. It was just kind of like breaking it up a little bit, you know, getting it settled down. And I just thought it was absolutely ridiculous. It was an overreaction. I know they're just trying to not necessarily clean up the game, but you know, trying to say to play, you know, you've got to be like role models for everyone. But you know, there has to be some kind of edge in the game. I mean, even when I sit there and think about like players who didn't like each other, the only thing I can think of was maybe when the Bulls and the Heat were going each other against the playoffs, when Joakim Noah made it completely known that he hated LeBron and the Miami Heat, and that was really one of the last things that we really saw of players actually openly saying, "I don't like you."
As fans, as viewers, we were
like that.
"Whoa, let's tune in."
You respect that. I like that.
So NBA, basically, what the drop team is saying, just lay off it. Stop robbing them blind. Let them play. Let them get emotional about it.
Let them knock each other about.
The kids know that you're just playing. It's not serious. So stop robbing them. But you know what? The money that they do take from the players, they do give back to the charity. So I suppose it is a good thing.
But you know, you talk about money and the malice at the Palace.
That
The
was different.
malice at the Palace. 9 players were suspended for a total of 146 games, which led to an $11 million salary.
Where did that money go?
Went to where you said. But that was. Can you imagine now? $11 million back then.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
That's robbery. They robbed them. But anyway, so NBA, just sort it out, please.